Ladies and gentlemen, K Kim here with the Traders Club. Welcome to the market update. Today is October 4th, 2018, Friday. As I record this video, market should be open another 3 hours. So I am recording this intraday, so you should be seeing some flashing lights on your left. Let's continue with our weekly analysis here. Let's start with the spider, diamond or Qs, diamond, Russell, the banks, and the semi. Let's start with the spider here. Spider, we did see a lot of up and down shenanigans here pretty much all throughout this summer, as you can see. And I've said, if you guys been following my video, that it's not gonna be easy for those of you who are just chasing this up here, right? This was the best time down here to get in, and once the market recover almost all of its losses is just 1 quarter, people start chasing it up here. Once people start chasing it, what happened? Well, things get difficult. Have you ever gone to Walmart on a Black Friday? Well, people fight each other just to save $10. This is what people are doing right now. They're fighting over each other just so they can get a little bit of money here and there, right? Not understanding, not trying to grab the long-term move of things, but they're just trying to grab a few points here and there, and this is what's happening. All these people were scared crap down here, and then they watched this thing going all the way up, not was able to participate in it, and now they're finally trying to chase this up here. Well, market is not going to make it easy for them. This is, again, this happens, and I've been saying this for years in my YouTube channel, that this is what the market does, all right? Every time there's a public get into it, things get difficult, things get hectic. But when the majority retail traders and investors are scared and just staying sidelined waiting for the crash, that's the time to get in, because the move will be much smoother. And you can see, obviously, this move was much smoother, and then you're trying to chase it up here. Well, things are not so easy for you because things getting very difficult. And another thing that I want to talk about today is, I want to go to clean sheet here, go to daily, just going back. Let's go do this. This is how even people, many of you who watch my video, this is how you trade. I'll tell you how you trade, right? Crash coming, 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 crash, 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 crash gonna come, crash gonna come, crash coming, crash coming, crash, crash, really crash, 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 crash. Oh my God, that's 1987 Black Monday crash coming. No, crash. Oh, crash. Oh, crash. That's how most of you trade this market. Every time we see a steep decline, you say crash is coming. And you get scared and you get fearful. And all of a sudden you start talking like some bozos online, right? Because you listen to some stupid bozos online. Every time there's a little bit of volatility, you scorn back to your fearful sense, and you all of a sudden everything is out the window and you think, okay, the crash is gonna come. That's one of the main biggest reasons why you cannot able to profit from this market, because you can't, every time there's a sharp decline, you think the crash is coming. How you ever gonna trade this market? How you ever gonna accumulate positions? How you ever gonna participate in capital appreciation? How are you ever gonna build your portfolio? Right? You're just gonna be a sucker all the time. Every time when there's a little bit of rally, right? Let's say you caught it because by luck, you're scared and you get out after, a few points up. You scalped it, right? There's scalpers out there. I'm a scalper. I'm going to scalp it because I'm scared. I don't know where it's going. There's no conviction, right? Every time there's a little bit of volatility, well, what do you think? Market is going to go straight up all the time? There's going to be no market without the volatility. It's a normal thing, right? Every time market comes back, people say market is crazy. Well, you're crazy. If you think that you're crazy, no wonder your life is crazy, because you that's how you view your life. Because you look at the market, the lenses that you look at life. You see what I'm saying? Every time there's a little thing happens, you make a big deal, right? Have you ever met people who just get really grumpy or angry with the little things? Have you ever met people like that? Like they just get angry with the smallest things. They make huge deal out of very, very little thing, right? That's what you do with the market. This is a very, very little thing, but you make just huge deal out of it. Now you're just going crazy. Market is crazy. Oh my God, the crash is coming. It is very unattractive. And I don't have time for that. I don't have time to babysit people who cannot able to withstand, able to go through, not avoiding it, going through the volatility. And understanding when there is volatility, there's opportunity, right? You got to understand when though, right? There's a tremendous opportunity down here. And most of you missed out. And then now you want to wait for a better environment, better circumstances, right? Well, it's not so much better because now you hit with volatility that lasted the entire summer. None of you guys, if anybody chased it up here, all of you guys are losing money. Only people who's making money is bought it down here and still holding it. I know a lot of retail traders who are always trying to come back and say, well, okay, I bought it down here. Are you still holding those positions? No, you're not. Because you probably close out right here. You bought it, maybe bought it right here, and you close out right there. That doesn't count. That doesn't count. I'm holding still 80, 90% of my positions that I bought it down here. And I've been adding. And I'm not saying all this to brag or anything like that. It just, I have to do the same speech every time there's a pullback, right? Even my followers on Twitter and YouTube, when the market is up, I'm like, yeah, you're right, Kay. You're right, Kay. Yeah, we're going up. We're going 320, 330. We're going 310. You're right, Kay. And there's a little bit of volatility. I don't know, man. Kay might be wrong this time. Crash is gonna come. I mean, I could be wrong. I'm not God. I can't be always right. All I have is my analysis and my conviction. I'm going for it. And I've been doing it since early 2016, right? And my convictions say 320 is very much possible here, right? Even I think the best case scenario would be 320 by end of this year. 310 for sure. But we got what? October, November, December. We've got 3 months to go. And this is kind of what I've said even earlier this year, even like, April and May of this year. And I already said that majority of move already happened. That's 20% move. Market usually takes that's 25 actually. Market usually takes about an entire year for 25%. But it happened in just what? In like 4 months, right? In just 4 months, it happened. What do you expect? Well, market is going to move sideways. That's very normal, isn't it? Well, what? You really think market is going to go straight up all the time? So market sees 25%, 26% move in 4 months. And then it takes time to digest this gain, consolidate a little bit, which is very much normal, but yet you think the crash is coming. You're crazy. You're crazy for thinking market is crazy. How would you think that market is crazy if this thing would have just went straight up to 40% in in 9 months, 7 months? Well, that's crazy. That's definitely crazy. That's probably not going to happen. So we see a 25% move in about 4 months, right? And we see a little bit up and down, digesting its gain, market just kind of resting a little bit after a big run like that. It recovered all of its losses in just 4 months. Did you know that has never happened in the history of stock market? You see a 20% decline and market just recovers everything in 4 months. This is the fastest reversal recorded in history. See, that's crazy. That is crazy. These little puny pullbacks, that's not crazy. And you thinking this is crazy, you're crazy. That's why your life is crazy. And I say this not to hurt you, but I want you to wake up, understand the market. It's your fear, your insecurity talking, not so much the market itself. Stop blaming the Trump, stop blaming the Feds, stop blaming everything else but yourself. You should blame yourself for all the losses. It's none of it is anybody else's fault but yours. Because if you start blaming yourself, you can grow. There's room to grow. The problem is your dumb, stupid decisions cost you a lot of money. Instead of learning from it, instead of looking at those losses as a teacher and say, you know what, I need to do something different. You know what, I need to learn from this. You blame everyone else but yourself. That's exactly what Adam did. Anybody read Bible here in Genesis? Right? God gives Adam and Eve, his wife. Eve eats a fruit. God told Eve and Adam not to eat that fruit. Right? But Eve eats it. Eve gave it to her husband Adam. Adam eats it. But God told him not to eat it. And then God comes to Adam and says, what have you done? What does Adam do? Adam should say, you know what, God, I know you told me not to eat it, so I should never eaten it. It's my fault. I was weak. Please forgive me. That would have been a right, humble approach, right? But what did Adam say? Adam said, well, the women that you gave me, the lady, that lady that you gave me, well, she gave it to me, so I ate it. So the girl you gave me, the lady you gave me, well, something's wrong with her. That's how human beings are. That's how most people are. You see how Bible completely exposes how we operate. We blame everything else. We don't blame ourselves. Again, this is why Socrates said, I know that I am intelligent because that I know that I know nothing. I say, in a more plain language, if you know you're stupid, then you're smart, right? I've said this many times in this video. Because the problem with the stupid people, they think they're smart. But they're stupid, but they think they're smart. That's what makes stupid people. Smart people know that they're stupid, so they grow. They learn. You see. So you've been losing all kind of money trading this market, but you still think you're smart. You still think you know what you're doing, but you're blaming everybody else. You're blaming the Trump. You're blaming the Fed. You blame everything else but yourself. Then you are stupid. Anyway, so Spider, we saw that briefly getting below that. We got the 200 SMA right there. We found some support. I actually like the weekly chart quite a bit. I'm going to go to weekly chart here and then look at this here. Look at that long lower wick there. Actually, if you look at things in a weekly perspective, we actually just came and retested it. Here, I'll go to line chart on a weekly. This is a weekly line chart, right? That August base, right? We just right at there, right at the level. I can even do a fib here. That's a 50% right there. So if you look at things in a weekly perspective, we've actually just came and retested it. And we're just right there. Really, nothing really happened. We're just came down, pulled back, retesting the prior resistance and as new support. Let's go daily again. So you can see we see a gap up here. We got 3 more hours to go as I record this video. Looks like the gap is still open. The good thing about it is this gap is filled quickly. That's a good sign because that gap actually became an island top, right? There was a gap up. This was a gap down. So this here, let me zoom in here. Here, so you can see there was this gap. So you gap here, gap there. So this entire thing became an island top. You see how fast bulls got back up and filled that gap. That's what you call interception. How quickly bulls got up there and filled it because he understands the longer this gap stays open, because that's being island top, well, it's going to be in trouble for the bulls. I'm very glad to see that bulls got up here and filled it. Now the gap got filled. There's a few things can happen from here. Either we gap up again and continue higher, that would be the best case scenario, or are we gonna start to stall and pull back and retest this gap or even fill this gap before getting back up? I think that's what's gonna happen. So either we gap up again and come back and retest some of these moving averages, these short-term moving averages, or we start to stall and then retest this gap or fill this gap before going higher. I think that's kind of what's in store, right? And I'm gonna admit it, last 2 weeks ago when I did the video, my worst case scenario was this thing coming down, filling this gap and going higher. So I did not expect this market to do something like that. So it caught me by surprise, but that didn't get me out of my positions. I wasn't like, oh my God, market is crazy, market is gonna crash. No. So that was my anticipation that it's gonna come and retest and continue higher. But remember what I said before to you guys many times, market either bounces early or late. It never bounces in a level that everybody expects. So this time around, market, I think, decided that it's gonna bounce late. So, and do a little bit more shakeout here. But looking at things, even with this recent decline, the long-term structure, the primary and the intermediate term trend structure has not been dismantled. So I still stay bullish in the intermediate term. I still stay bullish in the primary term. In the minor term of things though, as long as we stay below the 50, I'm going to stay kind of bearish to neutral at this point. And now the gap just got filled here. We may see a little bit of a pause or pullback, or at least coming down to retest this gap here. If bulls don't want to see that, they want to see another gap up, just gapping over it and then retesting these moving averages. Let's continue here, Qs. Let's speed it up here. Qs, again, we got the support going there and here. Exact same looking thing here. There's no gap though. There was no island gap or anything like that. Let me see here, looking big picture. Yeah, and there's still these subtle higher lows going on here in the minor to intermediate term. So the look and the price action is pretty similar, and the analysis is going to be similar to Spider. So let's move on here. Let's go Diamond. Diamond, however, did not fill this gap. So Diamond, we still have island top going on there. So what we want to see is in the Diamond next week, go and fill this gap or gap it up. If this thing gaps up again, that would make this an island bottom. So that's kind of what bulls want to look for. Bulls really want to jumpstart to the upside, maybe gap it up, make it into this island bottom back to back and continue higher. If this thing goes up and fill it, then pull back, challenge this gap again, and then possibly going back up there. Let's go to Russell 2000. Russell 2000 still same picture. It's been like this pretty much throughout this entire year after this huge V-shaped reversal. Again, I actually see this as a bullish price action, right? Again, we see a big V-shaped reversal. Market is consolidating, and I think Russell 2000 tends to consolidate more before big move. I mean, that's what happened in 2017 here. We consolidated, and then we saw that big breakout. And consolidated, we saw breakout. So that's kind of, it looks like Russell 2000 like to do that. And I think that's what it's going to do. XLF, kind of same scenario here. Looks more like an inverted head and shoulders to me. But what really is that we have cultivation of higher lows. And this is an eco lows. We no longer have a lower highs and lower low. This is lower highs right here, lower lows here. We actually dismantle that by getting up here, putting these highs. Now we can look at these as an eco high. So now we're no longer in a downtrend phase. We're in consolidational phase. You see what I'm saying? And we got these higher lows, and we just need to break higher, make higher lows and higher highs. And that will be the start, inauguration of primary term, resuming with this primary term uptrend, right? One last one, semiconductor here. Semiconductor looks the strongest look here in the price action. We got higher lows here, higher highs there. We're a little bit of a consolidation there. It looks like it's gonna break out, and semi is gonna do really well. So yeah, that's it for this week. I thank you for your patience. Last week I was under the weather. I was not able to put out a video. Thank you for your patience. Thank you for your support, kind words and emails and tweets and things like that. Feeling much better, not 100% yet though, but I will be 100% by next week. But hope you guys enjoy your weekend, and good luck trading next week.